A series to be decided today at First Merchants Ballpark. Ball State has yet to lose a conference series this year, but Bowling Green has hung tight all weekend with the best the MAC West has to offer. It's college baseball on ESPN3. Let's take a look at how yesterday transpired as Ball State came from behind with their first win of the weekend with a 3-1 win. In the second inning, Bowling Green jumped out with a single by the catcher Justin Mott in a 1-0 lead, but it would be Matt Eppers who would respond to the fourth inning for Ball State with a single of his own to tie the game at 1 apiece.
Gets a pitch he can handle right down the middle, sends it right back where it came from for an RBI single to tie the game up.
After that, it remained a standstill from there until the seventh inning when Alex Call of Ball State sent this one the distance in a 3-1 lead for the Cardinals.
Yes, Call once again able to come up huge for Ball State, showing off his power at any point in the game to take the lead for Ball State with that home run right there.
And that would seal the deal for Ball State as they would move on to win 3-1 over Bowling Green with their first win of the weekend. And with that, we welcome you inside this beautiful facility in First Merchants Ballpark alongside Jarrett James and Mick Tidrow. Tyler Bradfield on hand. That sets the stage for today, a rubber match to decide the series.
Ball State's been impressive throughout the course of the season, but Bowling Green comes into the game, first game of the series, gets the victory against Ball State. The Cardinals come back yesterday, but the rubber match once again, a good pitching matchup for both sides.
Yes, and that it should be. With the wind blowing out, it looks like it might favor Ball State. They're able to play their power game with a little bit of extra base hits. Let's see how they fare today.
And surprisingly enough, up to this point, it's been Bowling Green with a more effective offense than Ball State, and Riley Minerick has been at the heart of it, Nick.
Minerick, just a freshman for Bowling Green, leads the team with 4 home runs, 10 multi-hit games for the freshman, a slick defender, no errors in the field, 66 assists. He's been a stud for Bowling Green.
Yes, and for Ball State, Alex Call, so far on Friday and on Saturday, not only did notch an extra base hit, but has also scored a run, putting him at number 3 in the nation with 49 runs. Look for Call to be big for Ball State.
That's a look at our impact players for the first time this afternoon. Let's introduce you to the fourth member of our broadcast crew, Matt Organ.
Joining us now is the head coach of the Ball State Cardinals, Rich Maloney. Coach, Caleb State and Alex Call have led your team offensively all year. Yesterday was no different. They went 4 from 8 from the plate, and Cawley had the big home run. What have those two done to allow them to be so successful this year?
Well, they're just players who work really hard and done a fantastic job, no question. I mean, the amount of runs that Caleb's been able to knock in has been amazing, and then certainly Alex Call's been our main offensive contributor for 3 years. They're two great players, great people, and certainly came up big yesterday.
So far, the series is split at 1-1. You got the rubber match today. What's the key to get the win?
Well, we need a good outing from Brendan Burns, but we got to hit the baseball. I mean, the key to our team is our number one strength, without question, has been hitting. And over about the last 6 or 7 games, we haven't hit as well, which is normal in the course of a long season. But before that, we were on a tear, and that's pretty basic for baseball. I mean, you run in streaks like that, but we got to get back on a good streak. We got the wind slightly blowing out. We got a beautiful sunny day. We're in game 3. We got to find a way to score some runs and give ourselves a good cushion, because we need when we score more than 6 runs in a game, we win a lot. When we out hit the opponent, we win. We're like 20-2, I think now, something like that. So we need to hit the baseball.
That's the head coach of Ball State, Rich Maloney. Outstanding work, Matt. A look at the starting pitchers today. It's a 6-6 Burns for Ball State with a 5-1 record, and Andrew Lasinick of Bowling Green. A rubber match today to decide the series in a Mid-American Conference weekend. It's college baseball. First pitch is next on ESPN3. A rubber match today in Muncie between Ball State and Bowling Green to decide the winner of the conference series. And Ball State a sparkling 5-0 on Sunday against conference teams. Hasn't lost a conference series this year at 4-0. Bowling Green looking for their second conference series win of the season. Bowling Green will be at the plate first. The Falcons. As you take a look at their batting order, leading off with Riley Minerick, mixed player to watch, but nobody on that batting order batting above 300. Matt Smith leads with a 284 average. As the Bowling Green Falcons, though, so far surprisingly up to this point this weekend, hasn't really struggled at the plate. They've been very effective at the plate despite their numbers entering the weekend series. They'll be facing against the 6'6" Brendan Burns of Ball State. 8 starts on the year with a 5-1 record. The 6'6" right-hander has certainly fired the baseball in well, Nick.
So far this year, Brendan Burns has been the most consistent pitcher for Ball State. You see 5-1, 2.66 ERA, 6'6" right-handed pitcher coming into the season. He's really improved since last year. His fastball's become more live. His curveball has more break to it. Brendan Burns, somebody to watch here today for Ball State.
Yes, one thing Brendan Burns has been able to bring to the table for Ball State. Last year, in his freshman year, Rich Maloney was able to use him in a lot of big games. For example, came into the game against a ranked Kentucky team. A lot of ranked opponents Brendan Burns was able to face in his freshman year, therefore being able to get that experience under his belt that really led to a spark in his sophomore season here.
The defense around Burns looks like this. It's been the exact same the entire series. Kennedy at third across the infield, Maloney at short, Spalding at second, and Staten at first. 3 of those juniors, Spalding a senior, Ryan Flesch a junior behind the dish, and then Bisa, Eppers, and Call have started out in the outfield all 3 games this weekend. Leading off the top of the first inning for Bowling Green as the leadoff hitter is Riley Minerick, who yesterday was 0 for 4 at the plate, 2 for 4 on Friday against Ball State. As we're set to start the rubber match to decide a conference weekend series between Ball State and Bowling Green. The first pitch, and Minerick takes it inside for a ball. Brendan Burns has been especially good here at home as Minerick through the hole, rolling into left field, is safe at first.
One thing Brendan Burns is going to look to do here, just like the Friday starter, Kevin Martin for Ball State, is to use that length. Both of them standing over 6'5". Brendan Burns actually standing at 6'6". Going to be able to use that length to get on top of the ball and work down in the zone. Right there, just left the fastball up a little bit. Minerick able to drive a single to left field.
This is Glansman, the shortstop, turning for a bunt as they appeal down the first baseline.
We've seen Brown hit in the second spot in the lineup the first 2 games for Bowling Green. Instead, he moves down in the order, but in this situation, using the 2 spot to still use as a bunter potentially for Bowling Green, but Burns not around the zone so far this afternoon in the first couple of pitches, but a good job by Bowling Green so far to be selective.
Burns at home this season has a 3-0 record. He's 5-1 on the season. Offers up the 2-0. Down in the middle for a strike. Glansman entering yesterday, the shortstop for Bowling Green, had a 4 consecutive game hit streak. Squaring to bunt, popped into the backstop. However, yesterday for Glansman, finished 0 for 4 at the plate with a strikeout, ending that 4-game hit streak.
Yeah, Mick, one thing as you notice, Bowling Green able to change up their lineup quite a bit during the season as well as throughout the season. One thing that they're able to do with that is just bunt throughout the order 1 through 9. That's their identity so far. They've been able to small ball and do that well with a lot of consistency. That's hidden runs, stolen bases, bunting the ball.
Full count payoff pitch awaits. Smacked up. And out of play to the right.
So far in the series, we've seen Bowling Green initiate running opportunities even on 3-2 counts with nobody out, one out. We've seen that from Bowling Green. They're not scared to take off with less than 2 outs in a base at second base, open for a stolen base opportunity. And that on that pitch, no different for Bowling Green. We'll see if he takes off again.
Burns, a sophomore from Fishers, Indiana, checking over with Staten at first base as Minorik leads off. Long at bat with a 3-2 count. Minorik takes off sprinting for second and a foul tip. He runs back.
Yeah, the one thing that you'll see here, once again, with the 3-2 count, it is a stolen base. However, what they're trying to do is get that runner in motion to try to avoid the double play. With that runner in motion on the pitch, that kind of takes out the opportunity for a double play for Ball State.
The right-hander on the outside edge. Walked the second batter.
You have to be wary of the strike him out, throw him out opportunity because of the arm of Jarrett Reinflesh behind the dish for Ball State, but that time it works in favor of Bowling Green with the walk.
Yeah, and what they do, they just put a lot of trust in the hands of Glansman. If it's going to be in the strike zone, they believe that he'll at least be able to put the bat on the ball, whether he fouls it off or puts it in play. There he was able to draw a walk.
Matt Smith has been on a tear lately as he steps into the batter's box for Bowling Green with no outs and 2 runners on to lead off the game. Down and away for a ball. The past 10 games, Matt Smith has had a hit in every single one of those games. Minorik leading off at second. And a bunt down the third base line, and Kennedy charging up, and everyone's safe. Bases loaded, starting the game for Bowling Green.
Beautiful bunt by Smith right down the third baseline. Kennedy not playing in as far as he has in the last 2 games of the series. Smith saw it, took advantage of that opportunity. Smith not one to bunt in most of his opportunities with runners in scoring position, but he saw that opportunity, either sacrificing himself or a base knock, and he gets the hit for Bowling Green. And when you've got your best run producer at the plate with bases loaded, nobody out in the first inning, Bowling Green's got it going early on.
Yeah, it looks like Ball State's just trying to avoid the big inning here. Kennedy was playing behind the base, so allowing him and almost just tempting him to get that bunt down, which he was able to do successfully.
Bases loaded to start the game for Bowling Green with no outs. After a single, a walk, and a single, Minorik, Glansman, and Smith from third, second, and first. This is Basalega. Huge swing and a miss for the first strike.
That's where we saw both pitchers, both starters in the previous 2 games, and the pitching staff for Ball State be most effective on the outside corner, working low and away in the zone. Burns high in the zone so far today, around the heart of the plate, now working away to Basalega. He'll have to try and stay in that range.
Burns on the inside for a 2-1.
Yeah, even though he missed in right there, it looks like he was trying to once again go back outside with that slider. Situations like this where you have those runners in scoring positions, you're just going to try to pitch to soft contact, possibly trying to get a double play, even if that is up the middle, and allow the run.
Down the first base line, hopping by Staten, but foul. And even 2-2. Basalega, up to this point throughout the course of the weekend, has had 9 at-bats. This is his 10th. Registered 3 hits, 3 for 9 on the weekend. Action already down in the bullpen for Ball State as Mitch Gibson warms up. Burns is yet to record an out.
An important pitch for Burns once the mound visit's over. A strikeout here could put them in double play depth to get the Cardinals out of the inning already. Bases loaded, a tough situation for Ball State already. Jarrett, in this situation as a middle infielder, what is your key focus if you're playing back or are you playing in, or depending on the situation?
Yeah, well, first off, you just want to make sure you're able to record now. That's going to help you stay away from the big inning and things just piling on top of one another. So as you'll be able to see, the middle infield right now is playing relatively back. They're probably going to get a ground ball, try to turn it up the middle, take 2 outs, and allow the 1 run, as opposed to trying to make a bigger play, which is higher risk and potentially even more than 1 run.
2-2 with no outs and the bases loaded. Basilega lifting into center. Eppers is underneath it. Taking off is Minorik at home. They throw to third. Bowling Green 1-0.
Basilega shortens up his swing, takes it to center field. Sacrifice fly. Not trying to do too much. Bases loaded. A lot of players want to try and go into the gaps, drive in more, but just staying within himself, driving in a run. He's done that all season long for Bowling Green, and once again delivers.
Yeah, as you're able to see, he's able to stay back and let that outside slider just get deep in the zone. He's able to drive it to center field instead of rolling over ball to third base.
Eppers also making the smart move to hit the cutoff man to not allow the runners to tag up on the base paths.
After the sacrifice fly by Basilega, R.J. Williams to the plate. Still 2 runners on. Only an out recorded by Burns up to this point, and Mitch Gibson warms up into the bullpen. With how well Burns has pitched at home, this is certainly surprising jumping out. He hasn't performed well up to this point. As he blows one right past the bat of Williams.
Williams still looking for his first hit of the series here. They do have an advantage with him being a left-handed bat right here. If he's able to pull one over to the right side, especially get it into the outfield with Alex Call, there's a potential of the runner on second scoring from second, as well as the runner on first making it around to third base.
The freshman from Pickerington, Ohio, square in the back. And once again, bases loaded for the sophomore Burns. And Corey Brown to the plate.
Burns so far working inside to left-handed batters and right-handed batters. Hasn't been able to work the corner on the other side so far. Working too far in this time. That one just getting away from Burns.
Yeah, one thing you're able to see, Burns loves to get on that, what we call the glove side, work on the glove side of the plate. So for the pitcher, him being right-handed, that'll be the left-handed side, and he even stands on that side of the rubber. That gives him the advantage of being able to stay consistent on the outer half for a right-handed pitcher, but for a right-handed hitter. But where he falls into trouble is when you have the left-handed hitter, and right there, unfortunately, ends up hitting him.
Burns steps up with the bases loaded and just a single out in the top of the first inning. Has already allowed a run as Minorik has scored. Offers up the 1-0 on the inside, a fastball for a strike. Burns, a native of Fishers, Indiana, just down in I-69 from Muncie. About a 45-minute drive. Missing for a 2-1. Gibson warming up down to the bullpen. With Burns in trouble. Last year, Burns as a freshman appeared in 15 games with 8 starts, which was 4th on Ball State's team. Recorded his first win against Elon on February 22nd. And a bit of a jam here with just an out and bases loaded. Has already given up 2 hits and a run.
Tough situation for Burns. Already in the game twice with bases loaded, but an important pitch for Burns here. Something that the hitter might hit on the ground, keep it low in the zone, don't allow anything over the heart of the plate. It's just a 2-2 count. You still have a pitch to work with.
Low and another full count, 3-2.
Yeah, this is a big pitch for Burns already here in the first inning. As if his defense is able to make a big play for him, potentially turn a double play, I mean, he still gets out of it unharmed, even in a tough inning.
Full count, missing low. They walk in a run, 2-0 Bowling Green, top of the first and only one gone. Not the start for Ball State, who's yet to lose a Sunday conference game.
The designated hitter, number 15, Logan Giddings.
So far, Burns working up, down in the zone. Hasn't been able to find a consistent spot where he wants to work. A couple of walks and a hit batsman for the tall right-hander, but if he can get something on the ground, only 2 runs across the plate, if he can get a double play ball, but an important at-bat for Burns.
With Giddings, the 7-hole hitter, the designated hitter as well.
Honestly, a bit surprised to see a swing there with a little bit of inconsistency with Burns trying to find the strike zone. So far, these Bowling Green hitters have been able to stay patient at the plate.
Burns ahead of the count, 0-2. Just a single out. Maybe that will get the right-hander back on track.
3 pitches, 3 strikes. Good to see if you're Ball State for Brendan Burns because of the struggles so far in the inning. Working in his spots, low in the zone, even in that at-bat, finally finding the strike zone, getting a swing and a miss. Important for Burns to find some momentum going into this next at-bat.
Yeah, and what he's going to do, he's just going to go right at the bottom of this lineup for Bowling Green. Probably just pump a lot of fastballs, just challenge him right here.
He throws to the catcher, Griner. Started the Friday game as catcher. Did not play yesterday, as Justin Mott came into play. Burns missing low and outside again for a 2-0.
Yeah, as the pitching struggles continue for Brendan Burns, one thing that's going to be hard for him to do is trying to get that outer black, inner black of the plate from the umpire.
Jarrett, so far it seems like he's, except for that pitch, it seems like he's just missing upstairs right above the letters or right below the knees on some of those pitches, especially to those batters who he walked. He's just missing those pitches. Just as we see here, just off of the black. He hasn't been able to locate him on the corners quite yet, too high, too low, or too far in or out. He's just missing those spots.
Yeah, and what you'll see at all levels throughout baseball is with a pitcher that shows consistency, able to control his pitches and specifically locate in one spot repeatedly, they'll end up getting those pitches from the umpires. The umpire is able to see, okay, I see what this pitcher is trying to do. You know what, I'll work with him. I'll give him this spot here. I'll give him a few inches here and there. However, Burns has not commanded that control yet.
He's already walked 4 batters, and now Doherty to the plate, and they've gone through their entire lineup. Everybody in to talk with Brendan Burns. And already a pitching change for Ball State as Burns' day is done just after 2/3 of an inning thrown. Walked 4 batters, gave up 3 runs, 2 hits as well. And Ball State in a hole early, 3-0 to Bowling Green with just 2 outs. The pitcher coming in is Mitch Gibson, a 5'10" sophomore from Indianapolis, Indiana. Gibson has played in 11 games this year with a 1-1 record against opponents, holding them to an average under 300 of 298. Gibson had a very special day yesterday, got engaged.
Like we said, I guess love is in the air.
We talked about that at length yesterday with the engagements around this team. Matt Haro, Caleb Staten. And it seems as though Mitch Gibson might have taken notes, because between yesterday's game and now coming into pitch, he decided to pop the question as well, and she said yes.
He must have known we were talking about it in the booth yesterday and wanted to get on the air as well. But Mitch Gibson, the third one on the team, adding to that list of players getting engaged. But Gibson, 5'10", the guy that can throw the ball well, zip on his fastball, but special day once again for Gibson yesterday.
Yeah, one thing you'll find at that height, just really quick arm action. Mitch Gibson in high school, a middle infielder, and you'll see that a little bit with the short, quick arm action as he releases the ball. Gets a lot of run on his fastball arm side.
As he goes through his warm-up pitches, he inherits such a tricky situation. 2 outs and a 3-0 game in the top of the first inning.
These are tough situations coming in as a pitcher, because you have to come in with the bases loaded. None of these runners are yours, earned on the base paths, and you have to try and work out of the situation. And one pitch away, that's all Gibson is from getting out of this inning. Let the bats go to work. But important for Ball State to limit the damage and control this and keep these runners on base and go back to the bats.
And he faces the 9-hole hitter in Cam Doherty, who's 0 for 5 this weekend.
Good start, off-speed pitch, low and away in the zone, getting a swing and a miss.
Doherty, a freshman out of Wooster, Ohio. Inside, chest high for a ball.
Yeah, one thing you're going to get out of Mitch Gibson is he's a strike thrower. Head coach Rich Maloney going to a strike thrower here in a situation where he knows just a ground ball or any out can end the inning.
Gibson, a sophomore out of Indianapolis. Walked in the 4th run of the game, still on the top of the 1st.
In this situation, now that you've already gone through the lineup here for Bowling Green, any way you can continue this rally and this offensive attack is the best situation possible. Drawing walks, watching more pitches. Burns and now Gibson so far struggling to find the strike zone. And if you're Bowling Green, continue to stay patient at the plate. You're thinking if you can walk in as many runs as possible, the bats might come alive later in the game to provide some more punch. So the Falcons taking advantage of this opportunity.
Yes, and one thing you'll probably hear in the dugout from a Bowling Green head coach is, hey, we're going to take till you see a strike here. So as you can see, leadoff hitter Minorik yet to swing the bat at 2 borderline pitches, even though they are balls. More than likely, coaches told him, hey, just wait till you see a strike. Just take it. We're going to take our chances with that.
Trying to get out of a jam as Ball State, who has had a disastrous first inning. Minorik has already scored in this inning after starting it off with a single. Ripped into left field. Back towards the fence as Bisa watches it push, foul.
Well, foul, but over the fence. If Minorik was able to sit back just a half a second later, that could have been 4 more runs for Bowling Green. A good pitch on the inside part of the plate to handle. We saw him hit a home run on nearly that exact same pitch in the first game of the series. Minorik is hot right now, and his bat and his ability to swing is proved well for Bowling Green.
As it slides past the diving Maloney, coming home to score for Bowling Green is Brown, and around the corner comes as well Griner to score. A 5-0, 6-0 game. And Ball State has had just a disastrous first inning.
Well, as you said, Mick, one thing that happens when you're able to just be patient at the plate, one, you're going to load up the bases, get runners in scoring position, and now you have time to wait for your pitch. Menorca there able to just sit on a fastball that just came over the heart of the plate and drive it right back up the middle for a 2 RBI single.
In this situation for Ball State, you're relying heavy on your bullpen now in this game. It is a Sunday game, so the positive out of this and the bullpen is they will get some rest after today, but still you don't want to have to dig too far deep into a bullpen to have them throw more innings than they already need to throw. And with another player warming up for Ball State, things could get interesting. And when Ball State's throwing strikes, Menorca and the rest of the lineup, they're hitting the ball, they're putting the ball in play. And Basilega, one of the 2 outs, a sacrifice fly, so an effective out at that. So really 1 out in this inning so far has been a strikeout, and that was the only out that was costly to Bowling Green. They've been able to work with the rest of this offense.
Harmon's warming up at the bullpen for Bowling Green as a popped bunt lands into the glove of Kennedy. A disastrous first inning for Ball State, and Bowling Green has a 6-0 lead heading into the bottom of the first inning. Ball State has gone through 2 pitchers already, and Brendan Burns and now Mitch Gibson throwing for Ball State. A 6-0 game, Bowling Green leading. Let's talk for the first time this afternoon, rather the second time this afternoon, with Matt Organ.
Ball State on top of the MAC West at 10-4. Bowling Green at 5-9 in the MAC East. And the thing that matters is that big win on Friday for Bowling Green kept them right around the 8th spot. Only the top 8 make it into the Mid-American Conference Tournament. Ball State wants to stay on top in the MAC West. That way they get to choose what time slot they play in that first round game. And then if they get a win in the first round, they get a day off, a day of rest, unlike the rest of the teams if they stay on top. Ball State trying to get a win in this rubber match today. If they do to stay on top, Bowling Green, a win today would be even bigger for those MAC Conference standings.
Good point, Matt, as Ball State has yet to lose a conference series this year. Bowling Green has won 1. That came against Ohio. But not a good start for the team in red, as Bowling Green, a 5-8 team, 4th seed of the East Division of the conference, has jumped out to a very comfortable 6-0 lead.
But given Ball State's track record in the past this season, when they've been down, they've been able to come back. They still have 9 innings to work with on the offensive side. That's a scary prospect with the lineup like this. Even though they've struggled in this series in the first 2 games, a little bit of momentum, a couple of hits strung together for Ball State could do wonders for a struggling offense. And we talked about coming into the series, Jarrett, how important it was for Ball State's offense to get early production from especially the top of the order. We haven't seen that so far the first 2 games, yesterday more so than on Friday. But so far it's been Bowling Green's pitching staff that's really been able to corral the Cardinals offense.
Yes, and one thing that Ball State does have in their favor, once again, I do believe that the wind will play a factor in today's game with big bats like Jarrett Ryan Flesh, Alex Call, Caleb Staten, especially with opponents hitting .291 against Lacinic.
And also a right-handed dominant lineup for Ball State, and Caleb Staten, a left-handed batter in the lineup, hits lefties well. So an opportunity for Ball State bats to get going early. And if they can rattle up Lacinic here in this game too and make this an offensive game, given the track history for Ball State, that bodes well.
Alex Call leading off with Lacinic at the mound throwing home. Call over the Ball State dugout. Call had a very productive day yesterday. Went 2 for 4 at the plate and had the go-ahead home run, 2-run shot over left field in the 7th inning to put Ball State up 3-1. They would go on to win. A shot up the center field, and it's rolling into the glove of Brown. A single to start off with Call, and efforts to respond to Bowling Green's 6 runs in the first.
Great job by Call to get the offense sparked early. Didn't take long for Ball State to respond so far. That's a good sign if you're the Cardinals. Take it 1 at-bat at a time, 1 pitch at a time. Can't get too far ahead of yourselves. Sometimes you look at the scoreboard, Jarrett, down 6-0 in the first inning, and you get confused and rattled, but Ball State's one of those teams that can stay within themselves and score runs hand in hand with any team.
Definitely making, especially with this still being the first inning, what Ball State is going to have to do is just take it one at bat at a time. You're not going to hit a 6-run home run. So what they're going to do, they're just going to find a way to move the baseball, continue to manufacture runs. 6 runs is a large lead, but not this early in the game.
Cynic delivers home to Alex Maloney, the junior. Maloney has started at shortstop this entire weekend series.
I can only eat a half. That's awesome.
A swing and a miss by Maloney.
Nice changeup there from Lacinic, and that's one thing that he's going to look to get these Ball State hitters off balance. Great fastball hitting team, but if he's able to use that changeup effectively, might be able to keep them off balance and stay off his fastball.
Check to call over at first. Maloney came into the weekend series hitting .457 in conference games. Swings and misses, a 1 and 2. Throughout the course of the weekend, he has registered a hit in both games, but is 2 for 7 at the plate. Chop to Glantzman, throw to Basilega, and a 6-3 for the first out. Advances call to second.
Yeah, the high bouncing ground ball to the shortstop there, able to allow Alex Call time to get into second place where the shortstop doesn't even have a play. As you can see here, the turf becoming a factor, the high chopping ground ball. Shortstop Glantzman has no play at second, just goes on to first and gets the out.
We've seen throughout the series so far in the circle and the batter's box, if they can hit it where the grass, right before the grass and where dirt would be on a normal field, that's where it takes that big hop and bounces straight up into the air. All those beads get clustered together and it shoots high up into the air. And Maloney nearly beating it down to first base as well, but Call in scoring position for Ball State and Caleb Staten up the bat.
Staten takes the first pitch for a strike. 3 for 8 on the weekend. Down on the outside edge for a ball.
This will be an interesting matchup once again for Lacinic with the left-handed bat. Likes to go to his changeup, but might have to be careful here because if he's able to leave that down the middle, Caleb Staten, no chance.
Staten sends this one high, right field. Stationary is Williams, having difficulty finding it. As he makes the grab, Call stays safely at second.
It seemed as though Williams didn't know where that ball was until it reached his glove and making the circus catch, but Staten just getting under that one. The wind slightly blowing, not too much of a factor early in this game so far, but Caleb just missing that pitch. But you talked about it, if Lacinic can work away from Caleb Staten, it's most effective, but Staten's also been able to go with pitches on the outside corner, but changeups will be important for Lacinic throughout the game today.
Yeah, it's interesting. With Williams losing that ball in the sky actually played to their advantage. He lost that for a little bit, and because of that, Alex Call started to creep off the base a little bit to try and score if Williams did not catch that ball. Therefore, once he caught it, had to go back and tag up and had to stay at second base.
2 outs for the catcher, Rindfleisch at the plate. Call on second.
Ball State doesn't have to get all the runs back at once, just chip away 1 run at a time. A base hit could get this offense sparked and rolling. Rindfleisch has been known to provide some offensive punch in clutch situations.
Hit well into the gap of center and left, but a diving stop by Brown. All smiles by the senior to end the bottom of the first inning with the diving catch, snagging away a base hit from Rindfleisch. This is college baseball on ESPN3.
Good job, JC.
Hoosier Park Racing and Casino.
Call him that foul ball that Minerick hit. That's what we were about to hit on the back he had in the first game.
Beautiful day in Muncie, Indiana, on the campus of Ball State University. Bowling Green leads 6-0 after a very, very productive first inning by Bowling Green's offense. Brought 6 runs across off of 3 hits. It also helped that Ball State pitchers did walk several batters, a total of 5 there in the first inning. And the starter, Brendan Burns, has already been pulled. Mitch Gibson out on the hill for Ball State up to this point, entering the top of the second.
Yeah, it looks like Bowling Green was able to use a lot of that momentum from that 6-run inning. And the biggest thing for them was to get a goose egg, one of the zeros, in that first inning for Ball State. What that does, it kind of seals that momentum in on their side, especially with the diving grab in center field to close out.
And Call had almost reeled the momentum back for Ball State with that single to get things going in the bottom half of the inning. Masinic doing a nice job for Bowling Green. Kept his composure, made his pitches, and relied on the defense to make plays. And Brown had to go all the way from right center field nearly into the left center gap because it was shading over because of a little bit of a breeze. And with his ability and the way he runs, a tough play, but he made it look smooth and silk and made it an easy play for Bowling Green.
Gibson strikes away Matt Smith, who singled back in the first inning off of Burns.
Number 6.
Much better start to the second inning than the first for Ball State pitchers. Gibson working quickly, attacking the zone. Won't hurt them too much if he attacks the zone at this point because he just needs to throw strikes. Too many walks in the first inning, a hit by pitch in another at-bat. Working quickly, attacking the zone is what the Ball State pitchers need to do today, the rest of the way.
Gibson facing Basilega, a junior out of Pickerington, Ohio. Looking for his 7th consecutive game with a hit.
Gibson continues to work outside here with Basilega being a pull side hitter. You can even see the left side of the infield with Alex Maloney starting to shade towards the hole a little bit, playing pull side.
Two and two count, even at 1 out. Down around the tips of his cleats.
Interesting to see Basilega up to bat with no batting gloves. We were just talking about the oven mitt on his hand on first base yesterday. It looks like he's one of the guys, probably has quite a few calluses built up.
Batting gloves or no batting gloves for you, Jarrett?
Oh, I'm definitely batting gloves. I got nice soft hands.
You lotion those hands?
Every day.
Basilega. And Eppers on the drift back for the second out.
Eppers moved so well in center field. Coming in at first, the wind pushing the ball back made it look easy, just gliding back into the right center gap, making the play for the second out. This is exactly what Gibson needs to do, a 1-2-3 inning to get the offense back out there, put some pressure on Bowling Green, get the pressure off of yourselves. A 6-run deficit looks big on the scoreboard, but any way you can just to get quickly back on the offensive side can help this team for Ball State.
The Ball State pitchers have to understand that this Bowling Green team coming into the weekend hitting .235 as a team average. Even on today, they have 6 runs only on 3 hits. And that's where Ball State just has to come in and attack the zone, throwing plenty of strikes and challenge these hitters to put it in play.
RJ Williams at the plate, squaring the bunt and whipping back. Watching it skip across the dirt, 2-1. Lifted up left. Behind the dugout once again for a foul ball, 2-2. RJ Williams, a freshman out of Pickerington, Ohio. Did not play in the Friday game of this weekend series. Played yesterday. Only recorded 1 at bat. Went 0 for 1 in the game. Facing the right-handed pitcher out of Indianapolis, Indiana, and Mitch Gibson. Trying to end the top half of the second.
Once again, another Bowling Green hitter able to stay patient at the plate. Going to continue to challenge these Ball State pitchers to come at him with some strikes. No reason to be overly aggressive as that's happening.
What that forces a pitcher to do if the walks continue to pile up is they have to throw the ball around the zone, and that's when Bowling Green can attack the zone, get a pitch that they like. If the pitchers are down in a 2-0 hole, 3-1, that's when the offense has the advantage, and that's when they can just hone in on their pitch.
Yeah, well, once again, for a pitcher, it's going to be an uphill battle if you don't have your command. If you don't have your command, it's going to be hard for you to get that outer third, inner third call from the home plate ump.
Bunt attempt, rolling foul.
And then without getting that outside call from the umpire, maybe that inner black, it's just going to be hard for yourself. You're going to have to get more of the middle of the plate, and that's when the Bowling Green hitters are able to attack, as we saw from Menoric last inning.
Even with 2 outs, Brown not afraid to try and lay down a bunt somewhere down the third baseline, but with 2 strikes, he'll be swinging away.
Brown back in the first inning was walked, came around to score, was one of the 6 runs back in the first inning. One-two and a line into right. Call off a bounce, advancing Williams to second.
Williams taking off on the pitch there. However, held at second due to the strength of Alex Call's arm.
15, Logan Giddings.
Inside pitch took it the other way, almost Derek Jeter-esque. Get an inside pitch and just put it to right field. Anyway, he can get on base. Bowling Green, they're getting those balls to drop in the outfield. It's just working on all cylinders right now for Bowling Green.
Giddings pops up down the third base line. Kennedy and Maloney, and a diving Maloney. Appears to be fine.
One of the hardest plays in baseball to make is where the shortstop going back into the left field area, third baseman doesn't have a very good beat on it because it's over their head. Shortstop has a better angle going to the ball, but that time just too far out of the reach of Alex Maloney.
Especially a tough play for Alex Maloney as he's looking into the sun to try to find that ball. As we saw, the sun might be a factor, as it was with Williams last inning.
Getting swinging and missing with Williams in scoring position at second. He also has Brown at first. Gibson, as a freshman last year, he started 2 midweek games for Ball State as he faces Giddings here. Swing and a miss, and Rindfleisch finishes the deal. Entering the bottom of the second inning, Bowling Green 6, Ball State still scoreless. Looking for runs on ESPN3.
Yeah, the reason I asked was just if there was going to be
5. Middle of the second inning, Ball State trailing 6-0 to Bowling Green. In the rubber match today from First Merchants Ballpark, Matt Organ's down on the field.
Former Ball State Cardinal, now playing for a different Cardinals, the St. Louis Cardinals. Jeremy Hazelbaker played for Ball State between 2007 and 2009, accumulated multiple accolades, was undrafted by the Boston Red Sox. After 7 years in minor league baseball, made his debut this year with the St. Louis Cardinals. And to put it in perspective, the average professional baseball career is around 6 years. Hazelbaker going on his 7th right now. And if you saw last night, he had a pinch hit home run, put St. Louis up on top.
Thanks, Matt. From one Cardinal to another, from a Ball State Cardinal to the St. Louis Cardinal, Jeremy Hazelbaker has made a big splash in the majors, playing for the St. Louis Cardinals, and also kind of a hometown kid around the Muncie, Indiana area.
Yes, Jeremy Hazelbaker, a product of Wapahani High School here in Muncie, Indiana.
We enter the bottom of the second inning, and Spalding, the true senior on this team, leads off with a nice single into left field.
Back-to-back innings, leadoff batters with singles for Ball State. A good opportunity to jump onto something, and with that hit for Spalding to try and break him out of a little bit of a slump he's in, but the senior has bounced back from these opportunities before. Anytime he's been in a slump, he's been able to work with Coach Maloney and Coach Scott French with his swing, and he's been able to hone in. And for Ball State, that's a good sign that he's back on base.
Yeah, after talking with head coach Rich Maloney earlier today, he was just saying how he knows that his senior, Ryan Spalding, is fully capable of having a much better season than this. He's been having a little bit of struggles here and there, had to take a little bit time off with the ankle injury, but it looks like he's back and trying to get that monkey off his back.
Eppers giving ride into center field and finding it. First out of the inning as Eppers flies out to Brown.
Brown tripping on his way to the ball, a shallow hit ball into center field, slipping on the turf, recovering as the ball hung up in the air long enough, but this is where Ball State has to try and find a way to string some hits together. In the last 2 games, they've spotly hit the ball, and they haven't been able to drive in runs all at once. The biggest shot for Ball State so far this weekend, that Alex Call 2-run home run, and that was with, of course, just 1 runner on base, and in game 1, they weren't able to get the bats going either. So stringing hits together and finding a way to have those big hits like an Alex Call home run in the previous game are key for Ball State the rest of the way.
Brings Colin Brockhouse to the plate, a 6'3" sophomore out of Fort Wayne, Indiana. We have seen Brockhouse this weekend, but we have not seen him at the plate. Seen him pitching for Ball State.
Yeah, both Colin Brockhouse and Zach Plezak, in a sense, the same exact mold of player. Both of them hard-throwing fastball pitchers from the right side on the mound. Also used as two-way, as DH, sometimes even left fielders for Ball State.
He makes contact with the ball, sending it high, and trying to find it is a second baseman, Minorik, to record the second out.
That's kind of been what's been the story of Colin Brockhouse's season at the plate. A lot of times he's flying out, whether it be foul or fair, because he's just dropping that backside. Head coach Rich Maloney was talking with him before the game in BP, talking about staying on top, staying tall with that backside, to stay on top of the ball and square it up.
And so far in this series, we've seen a lot of flyouts from Ball State, not a lot of ground balls and line drives. And it seems when there has been a line drive from the Ball State batters, it's been right at somebody or a great defensive play, as we saw on Ryan Flesh's at bat in the first inning for Ball State. But the Cardinals staying on top of the ball and getting things on a line or in the ground could play large the rest of the way. And also showing patience at the plate as well. Make Lasinik work himself. The pitchers for Ball State have thrown a lot of pitches already through 2 innings on the mound. And if they can see some pitches themselves, find a groove, rattle Lasinik a little bit, every bit helps at this point, even though it's in the second inning.
Right into the booth? Not this time. Knew I should have kept my glove with me.
Hey, you brought your glove with you.
I was going to say, where did it go?
The ball or his glove?
Jarrett's glove.
It's probably up here amongst all these other cables.
I must say, I've never tried to catch a fly ball in the suit before.
Barehanded in the suit, better yet.
Oh, yeah.
A little bit closer down toward the window. We could have had a play on it.
Yeah.
Protect those glasses of yours. Those look sharp.
Thank you, thank you.
Kennedy against a 1-2. Lasinik delivering home.
Speaking of catching a fly ball in the suit, you got me up here in the booth from the field. When am I going to see you guys down on the field? Take some BP maybe?
Well, is this the invite?
Name a time, place.
I need a
date?
I need an invite. I need, as Mick said, the who, what, when, where, whys. Where that needs to be answered. What all I need to bring. But no, you don't want us catching BPs. Kennedy with a backpedaling Minorik. 2 scoreless innings for Ball State, and Bowling Green still leads 6-0. And the rubber match from Ball State. Through 2 innings, entering the third from First Merchants Ballpark, a 6-0 lead for Bowling Green over Ball State. Bowling Green looking for their second conference win of the season in a weekend series, led by Danny Schmitz in his 26th year at the helm of the Bowling Green Falcons. He certainly made a big splash in the Mid-American Conferences in his 26 seasons, his third all-time in conference wins. trailing Decker of Western Michigan and Carbone of Ohio. 351 wins for Schmitz. As we begin the top of the third inning, and Mitch Gibson throwing for Ball State.
Schmitz and his squad of Bowling Green have been successful in this series because of the familiarity with Rich Maloney and Schmitz. They've known each other for a while inside the Mid-American Conference, and Coach Maloney's first stint with Ball State before going to Michigan and then coming back. Schmitz still there for Bowling Green. 26 years, has been consistent, and as we round out and go towards the end of the season, Bowling Green has the ability in a year to make a late season push into MAC tournament. So no surprise that Bowling Green's being stingy in this series and giving everything that Ball State can handle.
Gibson starting off the third inning with a strikeout to Griner.
Once again, able to locate on that outer half, really starting to establish.
As Doherty, who walked back in the first inning, sends it high into the infield. Staten waves everybody off. 2 gone.
Interesting to see there. You see Mitch Gibson on the mound going after that fly ball, which you don't particularly see from a lot of pitchers coming off the mound and trying to catch a fly ball. Caleb Staten able to go ahead and take command of that infield. What you usually see there for fly balls in the infield is everyone has their own prioritization. So the first baseman will always have priority to catch a fly ball or call off the pitcher or the catcher. However, if the second baseman or shortstop is able to get to that ball, they usually have priority over those.
Grabbed by Staten makes it 2 outs and nobody on. Manorik with his 3rd appearance to the plate. Went to the place twice back in the first inning and singled him both times.
And with the pitcher not taking the fly ball off the mound unless it's right in front of the mound, but with that situation it also preserves potential injury, getting off the mound too quickly. You don't want to have that happen for a pitcher, so the position players calling off the pitcher if they can get to it, just like you mentioned, Jarrett. A great example of Caleb Staten calling off Gibson.
The recently engaged Gibson throws as it's hit by Manorik, right field call. Entering the bottom of the third inning, Bowling Green hanging on to their 6-run lead on ESPN3.
Can't help but smile.
Picture perfect day in Muncie for college baseball. Bowling Green 6. Ball State still scoreless entering the bottom of the third inning. Bowling Green trying to find their second conference win of the season, or their second conference series of the season. This Ball State baseball team has been well chronologized as Ball State Sports Links Believe is in its second season, an all-access baseball show produced by the students of Ball State Sports Link. Episode 2 is now available, and you can watch online at ballstatesports.com. Entering the bottom of the third inning, Ball State needing some runs and something offensively as Bisa, the 9-hole hitter, leads off.
Switch hitting Bisa steps into the box as right-handed hitter today against the left-handed Lasinik. Yesterday, Bison able to be a spark for Ball State, able to drive one from the left side over the right fielder's head for a triple. His first extra base hit of the season.
That was in the 3rd inning as he finished 1 for 2 yesterday. Bison was certainly electrified as he stood up after sliding into 3rd yesterday. Out of play with an even 2-2 count.
Bison didn't get too many at-bats to start the season, but down at LSU, recording his first career hit, and since then he's slowly started to pick things up, and as the season goes on, the weather's warmed up and so is his bat, and that's production Ball State loves to have at the bottom of the order. Coach Maloney's raved about how Bison has been able to transform his swing.
Yeah, and one thing that you're able to get from Bison, as you see a walk there, is he's a second leadoff hitter. I mean, great speed around the bases, a guy who can lay down a bunt here and there, and his average has been starting to climb. Now you got him on first base with the top of the order coming up. Ball State's in a great situation here.
One thing that teams around college baseball and Major League Baseball have started to do is to put a speedy leadoff type hitter at the bottom of the order, like you mentioned, Jared, because that allows 2 leadoff hitters, essentially 2 quick players on the base pass for the middle of the order, and that changes the complexion of a game.
Back to the leadoff hitter. The second appearance at the plate today, singled back in the 1st. Four for 9 on the weekend with his 10th appearance at the plate.
Bison not fooled there. Pretty smart base runner. So far, 100% success rate on his stolen bases.
He's 3 for 3.
Call knew he just missed that pitch. Outside from Lasinik, tried to pull it. So powerful, even those outside pitches he could wrap around and still hit line drives into the left field gap. Not something normal everyday players can do, pulling outside pitches and hitting it well to the left side. He's been able to show that ability to hit it to the right side as well, going with the pitch, but he has the strength to pull it to left field as well.
Might see Bison try to take second base here. You got a 1-2 count. Probably going to go to an off speed for Bowling Green. Off speed he does.
Just in front of it once again. Call with that foot down, hands quickly through the zone. We saw it yesterday on his home run. Nearly an identical swing. His swing is so smooth and he does it repetitively, almost the exact same swing every time. That's what you're preached at, to continue to try and find your swing and make it as consistent as possible. And Call has one of those swings.
Lasinik has checked several times over at first base. Shallow center. Minorik records the first out.
The shortstop, number 6.
This time Call gets just too far under it. Pitch up in the zone.
This is Maloney missing on the first offering for an 0-1 count.
Lasinik hasn't just gone to fastball or a curveball first pitch. He's mixing it up, and that's where Ball State's been thrown off during the course of the game. The fastball, the curveball, the changeup combination so far have been well mixed by the lefty.
Lasinik, a crafty lefty here. No surprise starting off Alex Maloney with the off-speed pitch. Alex Maloney, a fastball hitter, and able to do that well. Yesterday recording a hit, and so far hitting .325.
He grounded out to Glansman at short. Back in the first inning. Lisinik, a senior out of Ohio, where last year as a junior played in 14 games on the mound. Had a 3-6 record at a 5.40 ERA. A check swing and an appeal. Said Maloney turned it. Last season, Lisinik, he began the season as the Friday starter, but midway through the year was moved to the Saturday starter. Now starting on Sundays.
Mine?
Another one for you, Jarrett.
That just might make my weekend if I'm able to catch one up here in the booth.
Make mine too, because that means I don't get hit. It's a beautiful day here in Muncie, 63 degrees. The wind at points this weekend has played a factor at 10 miles per hour. This is the slowest we have seen it all weekend. Friday was upwards of 16 miles per hour. Yesterday around 13 miles per hour. Saw some rain on Friday, never delayed the game. Had a tremendous day yesterday with dedication of First Merchants Ballpark. One, two, and an out.
One thing Ball State might be able to do here is, even though they haven't pushed any across, if they're able to get Lisinik's pitch count up, Bowling Green might be in trouble. Ball State's just able to get into that bullpen, possibly see a new arm out there. Maybe that'll be their spark. So far, Lisinik's just been in a groove, been able to find ways to get out these Ball State hitters.
A well-hit ball. And Brown records another out.
First baseman, number 34, Caleb State.
This is where you look for the veteran presence of Staten at the plate to try and get something going with 2 outs. Runner on first base, Bisa doing a nice job. Leadoff runner, drew a walk, saw some pitches, Colin Maloney seeing pitches as well. But if Staten can get something early in the count that he likes, he might want to try and pull the trigger and see if he can get Bisa in motion. And with Bisa's speed, anything hitting the gap, watch out for going first to home.
One thing Bowling Green's able to do is kind of get a little bit of defensive shift here on the big swinging left-handed Caleb Staten. If you take a look at the second baseman, he's playing way deep in the hole, actually both feet into the outfield grass here. What they're able to do with that second baseman playing deeper like that, Caleb Staten isn't the fastest getting down to first base, so the second baseman will have a little bit of range, have time to get to that ball.
The junior Staten into the glove of Basilega. End of 3 innings. A 6-0 lead for Bowling Green in the final game to decide a weekend series. The rubber match on ESPN3 approaches the 4th. Yeah, say Tyler and Mick are hungry.
Not that I was talking to AJ. I can use some brownies. Brownies too.
Here we go. You ready?
Back at Ball Diamond here. Today's weather, temperature of 63 degrees with 10-mile-an-hour winds. The wind becoming a factor that should be in favor of Ball State, but so far Ball State not able to take advantage of it. Of their 9 outs through these innings, 7 outs have been in the air due to either pop flies or fly outs. So Ball State just not able to drive the ball over the fence like this season they have been able to. So they might have to change up their game plan, try to get a little bit more production, maybe just moving runners, getting bunts, something else.
And we've seen the batters of Ball State popping the ball up into the air, trying to get that advantage with the wind, get the ball up in the air, take it to right field, and we've seen them go the other way, but they've been weak pop-ups into the right fielder's glove, and it hasn't worked to their advantage yet, and so far the wind hasn't been an aid to either side. And Bowling Green not a team that hits a long ball very often unless it's Minerick so far this season, but Bowling Green plays more small ball. Ball State leans on the home run more than Bowling Green does, but Ball State has not been able to use that to their advantage, and Bowling Green's playing the small ball, and that's what's working for the Falcons.
Yeah, and so far that's just been due to the pitching matchup. Ball State having a little bit of trouble finding the zone as another walk for Ball State for Mitch Gibson. However, Lesenic just been able to use his off-speed pitches to keep these Ball State hitters off balance. Therefore, they're not able to just stay on their backside, allow the ball to travel. They're out in front a little bit, not able to get as much behind the ball.
Gibson started off the last 2 innings fairly well with 2 strikeouts, but this time walking the leadoff batter, and this is where Ball State got into trouble in the first inning, allowing those 6 runs. A leadoff base runner compiles. Leadoff walks are one of the hardest things to work around, and in the field, a ground ball. Look for a double play if you're Gibson. Hasn't pitched bad up to this point in the game. Was thrown into a tough situation in the first with bases loaded. Has since responded fairly well, but a double play in this situation only helps.
Harmon's back down to the bullpen for Ball State warming up. With the left fielder Smith, 1 for 2 today with a strikeout. Also a run scored back in the first inning. A bunt attempt as Gibson makes the play at first.
Bowling Green just sticking to their identity there, knowing they got a leadoff walk, runner on first base. With a comfortable 6-0 lead, all they got to do is add on one at a time. Great form there on the bunt, able to see it down, make sure it gets down as a sacrifice, and then over to first base to take the out and move the guy in the scoring position.
Smith hustling, almost beating that one out down the first baseline. Also a high pitch in the zone. Smith handling it well, keeping it the bat head level to the ground. Didn't pop that one up. That's the concern on a high pitch from a pitcher. Gibson did almost everything he could as a pitcher in that situation with the bunt attempt coming. He knew the bunt attempt was possible from Smith, keeping the ball up in the zone, and that's hard as a bunter to get that down, but Smith, a fantastic job to move over the runner, and you're bringing up your best run producer at the plate in Basilega. It seems as if every time there's a runner at second base with 1 out, it's Basilega at the plate for another opportunity for Bowling Green.
Yes, Basilega leading Bowling Green in RBI. Another chance to add on to that statistic column with the runner in scoring position on second base right here with 1 out.
Has struck out the most times of any Falcon this season. Entered the weekend with 27. Struck out twice on Friday. Takes a strike. Facing the right-hander from Indianapolis, Indiana, and Mitch Gibson. Gibson played his high school baseball at Greenfield Central High School. As he steps away. As a senior at Greenfield Central, Gibson was named honorable mention All-State. Also set a school record with 13 saves as a closer as a senior. Hit to Maloney at short. 2 gone, advancing Glansman to third.
Alex Maloney able to show off the arm a little bit. Ball deep in the hole with the backhand, able to make a nice strong throw to first base to record the out.
Glansman, a nice job taking third base on the opportunity. A ball hit deeper into the hole for Maloney to go across the diamond. Didn't have much of a play going to third base. A heads-up move for Glansman. Now a pass ball could score that run instead of moving him to third base.
Two outs and Glansman on third for R.J. Williams. Fouled out 0-1. We talked throughout the course of the weekend about the size of the Bisa family, but also the Gibson family as well. Mitch Gibson has 1 sister, 4 brothers. He's one of 6 kids. Gibson himself a father as well. As the family continues to grow, they have to just keep adding seats at the dinner table every single time. His brother Austin and Taylor both played at Marian University. You may recognize his cousin's name as well, Kyle Gibson, played for the Minnesota Twins.
You have somebody in your family that plays in the major leagues, it's always good to take some tips, and Gibson said he's learned a lot from Kyle and his ability to pitch for the Twins, and with Mitch applying that to his career this year. Last year he was nearly redshirted but had to come out in a couple of games early in the year. Coach Maloney trusted the freshman at that time to come in and make an impact because he can throw strikes and work well against batters.
Deep left field, Bisa at the warning track making the grab. Into the wind and entering the bottom of the 4th inning. Ball State needs some runs. 6-0 they trail on ESPN3.
Because we believe that strong businesses create strong communities. It's why your business. Visit us online at firstmerchants.com. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
More than good.
Lego.
Ball State coming into today averaging 3.7 walks a game
As a pitching staff?
as a pitching staff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ballpark here at Ball State University. The Cardinals currently trailing the Bowling Green Falcons 6-0. Ball State head coach Rich Maloney is in his 11th season at Ball State. Started his career here in Muncie, Indiana, then had a stint at Michigan and is now back to Ball State. In fact, they live just 4 houses down from the house they lived in the first time the Maloneys lived in Muncie, Indiana. And Coach Maloney has been he's been pushing to have a better ballpark here. And Jarrett, you can attest, he's wanted it, and finally a nice facility here in Muncie, Indiana.
Yeah, without a doubt, head coach Rich Maloney always had a vision for this Ball Diamond Ballpark and finally gets it here. Yesterday being the field dedication where they had the ribbon cutting and everything, and Rich Maloney could not be any happier. Ball State able to pull out a win, and as you can see, just the beautiful graphics all the way into the bullpens, as well as on the bullpen fences. On the right side, you can see the MAC Pitchers of the Year for Ball State, Scott Baker, my own roommate. And on the left side, you can even see Ball State's dog pile as they won the MAC championship 2 years ago.
Hey, you're on the left side of that picture, Jarrett.
Oh yeah, that's why I had to point it out, because I'm on there.
You don't look like you're a member of that dog pile, though. You look like you're just kind of like observing from the outside.
Well, see,
Late to the party?
I was actually the first one there, and of course, someone jumped in front of me. Their cleats come up. I got to protect this beautiful face. I can't take a face full of cleats, so I had to wait. And then next thing I know, I try to jump in again, same thing happened. So that's why I'm off on the side all the way on the left.
As you can see it there, that bullpen, the vinyl fencing of the backstop of the bullpen. So your beautiful face and your soft hands.
Yes.
Have to protect those. Ryan Flesch trots on down to first.
Ryan Flesch's second time getting hit this weekend, as he came into this series already leading the MAC and hit by pitches. Once again, able to take advantage of that, standing up on top of the plate as Lacinic tries to come in.
Once again, a leadoff runner on base for Ball State. We've seen it so far in every inning. Ball State has had the leadoff runner on base, but they have not been able to produce anything thus far. And with Spalding after a single in the second, as we see the hit by pitch one more time right off of the knee of Ryan Flesch.
Yeah, and that's been one call that's been very controversial in the game of baseball so far this year, especially at the collegiate level. They've made a few rule changes here over the past 2-3 years where can that batter just stand there and allow the ball to come and hit them, or do they have to make an attempt to get out the way? The rule change recently has been that the hitter has to at least make an attempt, and that's what head coach for Bowling Green there was arguing, that catcher Jarrett Ryan Flesch did not make any attempt to get out of the way of that pitch.
That situation, the old adage of get on base any way you can. Ryan Flesch has been a perfect example of that throughout this season. You mentioned it, 14 hit by pitches on the season, leading the MAC, and he's not afraid to do that. He gets on base, walks, hit by pitches. He's been able to do that for Ball State. They just have to take advantage of this opportunity. They've had them through the first 3 innings so far, haven't been able to capitalize on those leadoff runners. And we talked about coming into the series how big the offense has played through the season. They had a game earlier the year where they scored 21 runs against Western Michigan, but coming in, Bowling Green's pitching staff has done more than enough so far, minus the game yesterday. Really one pitch, Alex calls home run, but minus that, Bowling Green's pitching staff has really, really held Ball State's offense.
Yeah, and that's just a testament to their pitching staff. They've been able to do a great job this weekend. Honestly, any time a team can hold Ball State to under 6 runs, anything like that, they can almost consider that a victory, a moral victory for themselves. And this Bowling Green pitching staff has definitely been able to go above and beyond in doing that.
Swing and a miss by Spalding.
Center fielder, number 35.
With that strikeout, Spalding is now 1 for 2 today. To take one last look at the cut.
Good off-speed pitch inside to Spalding. Couldn't connect, a good breaking pitch.
As Lacinic records his first strikeout of the game.
Zach Eppers, the junior out of Bristol, Indiana. Played his high school baseball at Elkhart Central High School. Ahead in the count 2-0. At Elkhart Central High School, his team had a 32-1 record, did Eppers' team. Won the school's first ever state championship. That was his senior year. Takes it for a strike. Not only was he a very talented baseball player, but also excelled on the football field as well. Was an all-conference kicker as a senior. As he sends on a drop into left. Brown plays on the bounce and a slide by Ryan Flesch into third. 2 aboard on the corners.
Eppers finally able to get a good fastball, see it deep, allow for that ball to get deep and drive it into the right center gap. For the first time, able to move a Ball State runner onto third base. As you see here, that fastball in that outer half, Eppers just sees it deep and allows it to get deep and take it the other way.
That puts Eppers safely over at first, with Colin Brockhouse to the plate.
Also, look for Eppers to try and take second base here. Definitely a base stealing threat. Going to try and get out of this double play. Looks like Lasinik knows it as he takes a look over to first base. Keep him close.
Eppers entered the weekend 5 and 10 on the base path, tied for second most in steals for Ball State. As Brockhouse takes a strike.
Brockhouse doesn't have to do too much in this situation. Pop one into the outfield deep enough to where Ryan Flesch can tag up and score. Just a run on the scoreboard goes a long way for an offense when they're struggling. And if Brockhouse can provide that punch, maybe the offense for Ball State can get going and string some hits together.
Brockhouse steps back in, looking at his runners on the corners. Ryan Flesch and Eppers checking back over with Eppers. That all-conference accolade in high school as a kicker on the football team was certainly highlighted by his 50-yard field goal, which was a school record. Swing and a miss by Brockhouse, going down swinging for the second out.
The third baseman, number 10, Sean Kennedy.
Eppers received interest to potentially kick if he wanted to at the college level, but obviously chose the baseball route instead.
Yeah, that leg for Matt Eppers also pretty special. Also a pretty good soccer player, as he also played that sport in high school. So a 3-sport athlete for Matt Eppers.
And they're talking to head coach Maloney before the weekend series. He loves Matt Eppers' ability to run and his athleticism. He loves the tall and the speed of Matt Eppers and his ability to get on base and run around the bases so smoothly and so quickly, and how he's been able to do that throughout the season. And his career really has just been another punch for this offense. And at the start of the year, he was batting 9th in the order, acting as that second leadoff guy. But now as the lineup is shuffled over and Bice has taken the 9th spot in the lineup, it allows Eppers to slide up in the order, and that provides another speedy guy right after the power hitters. That's just like another leadoff hitter hitting in the 6th spot. And then you have Brockhouse and Kennedy, who have power as more of a punch at the bottom of the order as well.
Yeah, that speed definitely becoming a factor, as Lasinik has taken quite a few looks over there, attempting to keep Eppers close. Anytime he gets on base, that's almost just an automatic pitch over to first base.
That strikeout of Brockhouse important because with now 2 outs, a sacrifice fly is out of the equation for Ball State. A base hit will have to do it if Ball State wants to score in this inning.
Kennedy 0 for 1 today. Flew out to Menorcan the second inning. Full count.
Eppers will be in motion here.
Chop Doherty on the grab. Across the diamond, ending the 4th inning. End of 4 innings, 6-0 Bowling Green on top of Ball State. Matt Organ's downstairs.
Bowling Green head coach Danny Schmitz is in his 26th season for the Bowling Green Falcons, one of the longest tenured Division I baseball coaches currently still in the game. And according to some of the Bowling Green pitchers, he's the stereotypical classic baseball guy. In fact, a lot of teams are switching their statistics over to an internet-based online form. Coach Schmitz doesn't like that. He sticks to the paper form of statistics, and a lot of guys give him jokes saying, you know, when's your iPhone coming? He's not about that. Head coach Danny Schmitz been doing a lot of good work at Bowling Green for a long time.
Thanks, Beck. What is a stereotypical baseball guy? Is that just old-fashioned? Is that how you classify that?
I guess so. Baseball being an old-fashioned American game here, possibly. And that's actually been a lot of talk, especially in the pro game now, just about how does the coach want to manage his team? Does he go off of those sabermetric stats, or does he just stick with the old school approach? As you can see, as you have seen a lot, especially in media, for example, the movie Moneyball.
But why not? With all the advancements in technology, you would think that now with the electronic scoring systems, with everything that you can do with replay angles, with monitors, why not advance it?
26 years the pen and paper have gotten it done for head coach Schmitz, and maybe he just keeping it rolling with what has worked well. And so far we've seen the pen and paper style work against Ball State this series against Coach Maloney and the Cardinals.
What are you guys both old-fashioned? Are you the stereotypical baseball guys, or you like your technology?
A little bit of both. A little bit of both.
So you're a hybrid. How does that work?
Well, I like the old-fashioned in the way that you can use the pen and the paper, but also the technology, replay angles, as we have so many of them, and the technology just advances the enhancement of the game and ways for people to watch the game and to see the game through a different eye, and it's really advanced, but also the old-fashioned of just the history and the charisma of old-fashioned baseball is just always a beautiful sight.
And Jarrett?
Honestly, I might have to say I'm a little bit of a hybrid as well, but probably a little less on the tech side of things. I'm definitely old-fashioned when it comes to just a lot of different kind of things that I'd like to stick to just because that's just what I do. I like doing things the old-fashioned way. However, I do think technology is a little bit getting too integrated into the game. For example, in the pro games now, they have the instant replays where you can almost, in a sense, challenge a play, throw your challenge flag onto a baseball field. And that's just, I don't know, I just feel like that's getting away from good old-fashioned, let's go out there and play some baseball.
That explains the ink and feather that you brought to keep score on your scorecards.
I was hoping no one got to hear about that.
We'll have to get you another one.
Yeah.
We're almost running out of ink over here.
That's true.
Especially after that first inning. 6-0 Bowling Green leading. Popped up bunt. And just a simple scoop by Rindfleisch.
Great job by Gibson on the mound to throw that one where Giddings could pop something up on the infield. Bowling Green looking to their small ball once again. This time did not work. One of the first times we've seen it not work on a sacrifice bunt opportunity for the Falcons throughout the weekend series. But Gibson, a nice job. He started his motion, slowed down as soon as he knew that Giddings was squaring around, as you can see. Threw that one up in the zone and an easy pop-up for Rindfleisch.
Yeah, once again, like you touched on earlier, Mick, that elevated fastball is a tough pitch to bunt because you got to find a way to get on top of that. As you saw there, his barrel started to drop down just a little bit, getting under the ball, making it easy out for Jarrett Rindfleisch.
With Brown leading off over at first. Gibson peering in with Greiner at the plate. Greiner struck out back in the third inning, was walked in the first, came around to score.
Good block from Rindfleisch, keeping in front of him, holding the runner at first base. Sometimes those are the tough, tricky ones. Low in the zone, coming in quick. Just have to find a way you can get the body on it to keep in front of you.
Jarrett Rindfleisch there, you can even see the towel sticking out of his pocket on the right side that he uses just to keep his hand dry.
As Brown takes off for second, an attempt to steal.
Rindfleisch having some trouble trying to get the ball out of his glove quickly. The throw just to the left of the bag. Spalding, a tough time handling it at second base. A good job, though.
Close play at second base.
Quick move from Gibson. Nearly nabbing the base runner. Gibson has shown that a couple of times throughout the game, a slow leg move over to second base, but this time quick move.
He looks back to the shuffling Brown.
One out here in first base open. Mitch Gibson's going to try and locate his pitch where he wants it. No need to give the hitter something too good here. First base is open once again, got a 2-2 count. Trying to make his own pitch on the outer half or inner half. He can be pretty picky here.
Griner keeping the at-bat alive. Was a very valuable backup last season for Bowling Green. Then towards the end of the year became a starter through the Mid-American Conference Tournament. He proved his worth at the final 5 games of the year as he had to come in and start at first base, Dick Griner. That included the 4 MAC tournament games where Bowling Green advanced on to the semifinals. Full count pitch. The at-bat continues.
Good 3-2 pitch from Gibson. Low and away in the zone, not too close to the heart of the plate to where Griner can drive the ball into a gap. Keeping it off the plate, but close enough to draw a swing.
Balls and 2 strikes with a full count. Griner continues to make contact. Send him out of play.
This time Gibson going on the inside corner, trying to jam Griner instead of going outside. Griner not quick enough hands on that pitch from Gibson, coming in hot. Gibson and that fastball have improved from last year to this year. And in talking with him, he's loved how his development's gone with that fastball and how much he's been able to improve it and put more speed onto it. And with a smaller body, quicker to the plate, he's been able to really be compact on the mound.
Yeah, once again, Mitch Gibson, a middle infielder transformed into a pitcher, as you can see, with quick, short arm action, able to get a little bit of velo on the fastball.
Over the head of Maloney at short, a bouncer to Bisa left. Brown trots easily into home to score.
This time, the full count pitch catching too much of the plate from Gibson. Hung right over the heart of the plate. Griner doing exactly what he needed to do to launch that one into left center field. Easy for Brown to come around to score. Deeper ball into the gap. But a nice job to go with the pitch. Flare went into left. Bisa playing deep in left field. Didn't have a play at the plate.
Yeah, Griner able to just take care of a fastball there that just caught a little bit too much of the plate. On 3-2 count, probably sitting fastball, making sure you get something good. Able to drive that into left center for an easy RBI single.
And Gibson's day is done after coming in the middle of the first inning. And now out of the bullpen is TJ Harmon, a right-hander standing at 6'2", played at McCutcheon High School. Just a freshman for Ball State. He inherits an out after already giving up a run in this inning at Ball State, and Harmon has appeared in 10 games this year. You take a look at his statistics. Thrown in 14 innings with a 5.14 ERA. Has been used seldomly in just 14 innings of work.
Harmon, a fastball, curveball combination for the right-hander. Down during their spring break trip, we saw him and his ability to continue just to work through a game. He had a couple of opportunities in games where it wasn't too close. Comes in, those are developmental games. And in this situation, down by 7 runs, an opportunity for Harmon to just continue to work on his stuff, find his rhythm for the rest of the season. In Mid-American Conference play, down 7-0, still an important game for Ball State. Plenty of opportunities for the Cardinals to still try and come back and score some runs, but Harmon, a freshman, will have to use this opportunity to find his pitches, but also keep the game where it's at for Ball State.
Harmon comes in and faces Doherty. Freshman against freshman.
As you can see there, looked like a hit and run attempt. A lot of times when you see a runner taking off on a ball in the dirt and you just see a lousy swing, it's not necessarily that the hitter was actually trying to go after it, but just trying to keep the catcher back with the swing that's late. When you see a hitter swing like that with the runner taking off, he's just holding the catcher back so he can't come forward to make a play. Doherty showing a little bit of baseball IQ as a freshman.
Harmon more of a pitch to contact pitcher. Keeps the ball around the zone, especially early in the count. Allows his fielders to help him out.
Over the head of Harmon, bouncing to Eppers. Pushing Griner over to the third. And still just a single out.
1-2 pitch getting too much part of the plate from Harmon. Doherty sending it back right where it came from. Toward the outside corner, but doing a nice job keeping his hands through the zone and sending it back up the middle.
Bowling Green looking to take advantage of a sleeping Ball State defense as they try to execute a squeeze play there. Minoric fouls it off. One thing that you can do when you have a lead such that Bowling Green does, you can just take it out and just keep adding on 1 run at a time.
Down the third base line, waiting for it to bounce foul, and it finally rolls foul.
Veteran awareness from Kennedy. He saw the spin of the ball, knew it had the potential to go foul, and saves a run. Kennedy, that is a very smart play from the third baseman. We've seen his incredible diving stops and throws to first, but this is one of those that won't go in the stat sheet or be in a highlight reel, but a smart move by Sean Kennedy.
Undoubtedly, and that's what you get when you have a veteran third baseman such as Sean Kennedy. Has been a 3-year starter there at third base for Ball State and has seen plays like that so many times that he's just used to it. He knows that he's not necessarily going to have a play at first to get the runner out, so he just decides, I'm going to take my chances and let this ball roll foul.
And either way, with how slow that ball was rolling, Minoric probably would have reached base safely anyway. With that opportunity, it gives Ball State another chance at a double play. Keeps it intact. This time that foul ball to my right, Jarrett.
Luckily, it was the overhang of the press box that kept that one from entering.
Came close, a couple of feet away from the window.
The freshman grounding to Maloney, trying to turn 2. But it brings Griner in to score.
Seemed as if Spalding's foot got caught at second base as he was trying to turn to the throw just low into the dirt to Staten at first, but took Spalding a couple extra seconds to get rid of the ball. Seemed as if sliding into second base. A nice job by Doherty to break up the double play.
Evan Corson's down to the bullpen for Ball State warming up. As TJ Harmon throws a freshman. Glansman walked in his last appearance to the plate. He's been walked twice today, has Glansman. Also popped up to Kennedy. With 2 outs and 2 runs scored this inning, an 8-0 game.
Bowling Green coming into the series not hitting very well as a team, but they're scrappy. They play small ball. They're a young team that has veterans mixed in the lineup, but they've been able to play that small ball, and the attitude of their team of playing scrappy and doing anything they can to score runs. Exhibit A in the first inning when they had 4 walks, a hit by pitch. They continued to just grind it out and watch pitches, see things that average in the home run numbers. The run production hasn't been there as a whole for Bowling Green, but they're not a team that can go long ball on any account. They're a team that can sit back, watch some pitches, draw some walks, and that's what they've done today.
Yeah, one thing Bowling Green's been able to do today is produce 8 runs with no extra base hits. As you look, you can see they only have 7 hits, all of those hits being singles.
Rindfleisch throwing first. And Staten seems perplexed.
And these kind of games when you're already frustrated at the scoreboard, plays like this are frustrating as well because of such a close play. Rindfleisch, a perfect bullet throw down to first.
First able to make just a great snag on that ball that seems to have gotten away from pitcher Harmon. Able to backhand a pick out the dirt and throw a bullet over to first base.
Well, Danny Schmitz wanted some words this inning, and so does Rich Maloney. As Harmon, the freshman from McCutcheon High School. With Maloney returning to the dugout for Ball State. Attempting to get out of the inning with a 2-2 count. Taking off is Minorik, and safely in with a steal of second.
Nothing Rindfleisch could do on that pitch. Curveball low in the zone from Harmon. Rindfleisch doing a nice job just keeping it in front of him and holding Minorik at second base instead of rounding the bag and hitting toward third.
Inside pitch, a called strike 3. Harmon, the former all-conference member for McCutcheon High School, strikes out the side. 8-0 Bowling Green on ESPN 3. Mm-hmm. 15 seconds. I'll leave these here. An 8-0 game in the 5th inning. Bowling Green has taken advantage of a struggling Ball State offense. Heading into the bottom of the 5th inning. A very long time standing series between these two Mid-American Conference schools, Ball State and Bowling Green. As we lead off here in the bottom of the 5th inning.
Yeah, with that long-standing history, once again, two coaches who've seen quite a bit of each other, and both of them with a little bit of old school style, whether that be pen and paper, certain superstitions that they may or may not follow or stick with. Head coach, Coach Maloney, even keeping the same number as he had during his first go-round here at Ball State, one superstition for himself.
Jared, did you have any superstitions as a ball player? I'm sure you did.
Oh, yeah. One thing that immediately comes to mind for me that actually is pretty common within the game of baseball, before every game I had a certain handshake that I would do with each one of the teammates. And right before the first pitch, I'd just go down the line of the dugout doing our own specific handshake. And honestly, anytime that I felt like I couldn't find them in time or anything like that, I was just like, man, we got to hold off this game. This game cannot start until I have had my handshake with each one of the teammates.
Making our chest bump before every broadcast.
That's about as good as we can do. A handshake. I don't know how you keep all of those straight. There's what, 30 plus on a roster,
Yeah.
40 at one time. That's impressive.
Yeah, well, you got a lot of time to get to know one another. Long